Do you have procrastination bananas on your counter? You know, the squishy black type that you never really got around to eating? Don't worry, we're gonna make it into some awesome chocolate chip bourbon pecan banana bread today. Let's go. Here's the lovely finished product, and it takes just under an hour to bake. So first things first, you're gonna make your pan prepared, and I'm using a sunflower coconut oil blend. Use any light oil that is lightly flavored, and then sprinkle a little bit of flour on that pan so it doesn't stick at the end. Next, you're going to want to grab 2 eggs and then crack them into a pan and whisk them very hard. You have the option to use a machine whisk here. I'm just going to use a fork and some elbow grease and really get them shaking. You want to get them nice and fluffy like this. Ooh, look at that. Next up, take out your butter. I'm using Miyoko's cultured vegan butter here, and I'm using 4 ounces. You can use 4 ounces of whatever butter you like. Put the eggs aside, and then in that mixing bowl, you're gonna want to mix together the butter and sugar. I'm using 1 cup of coconut sugar here because it's a lower glycemic index and a little bit less processed, more natural. All right, and once you have that mixed up, you're gonna add your Madagascar vanilla or whatever vanilla you have, and then I'm gonna do 1 tablespoon of that into the coconut and butter mixture, and I'm adding a little extra vanilla cream by Sweet Leaf. I use this in almost all my recipes. I'm using a whole dropper full. I'll link it below if you guys want to try it. Mix it up until it forms this nice smooth paste. You can see what I've got going on here. And then I'm adding a little cinnamon. This actually wasn't even in the recipe. I'm just kind of freeballing it, but I love having cinnamon in my banana bread. Mix those eggs back in and then whisk it back up until you get a fairly smooth mixture. It's gonna have some clumps just because of the butter. And then it's time for bourbon. So you're gonna use 3 tablespoons of your favorite bourbon, and maybe a little more for you if you like that. In a separate bowl, take 2 cups of your favorite unbleached baking flour, and then you're gonna do 1 full tablespoon of baking powder. Powder, not soda. And then just mix that in. Make sure you get it really nice and fine. If you've ever had those chunky clumps, you know what I'm talking about. Make sure you mix it up. And then I'm gonna do some sea salt. Recipe called for a ½ teaspoon, but I'm gonna do a full one there. Mix that in with your butter and egg mixture, and then make sure you get it nice and smooth. I found that this actually was a bit dry, and so I decided to add some vanilla chamomile yogurt by Coco June. Add about a ½ cup. It just gives it this really smooth, moisture-rich texture at the end. And then it's time for the pecans. I actually had bourbon pecans, so I'm crushing those up and putting them in, but you can use any pecans that you have, or you can even do walnuts if you like. So do about a cup of that, and then you're going to do 1 more cup of chips. I'm using Lily's stevia sweetened chocolate chips, which I will link down in the description below for you. You can also find them at Kroger and Publix. And then just mix this in, and you're about ready to pop it in the oven. Once you get it nice and mixed, taste it, make sure it tastes good, and then put it in your pan. Just make sure it's smooth and even. After you have it all in there, go over it with a spoon and just get a nice flat texture. Once you got it as flat as the Dead Sea, pop it in the oven at 350 degrees and then start at 45 minutes on the clock. You can go up to an hour because everyone's oven and elevation is different. So at 45 minutes, wow, it looks really good. I think that this is ready, but I'm gonna check it with a knife just to make sure it comes out clean. Oh, wow. Put it in a little slit there to make sure it's kind of not so obvious. But yeah, this came out clean. It is ready at 45 minutes and we are good. Wow. This was actually so easy to make, and it's really healthy too. All the ingredients are clean and I'm fired up to try it. It's really moist and dense as I'm cutting it. The best way to serve this is to pop it in the toaster oven for a couple minutes and then spread a little butter on it. Ooh, the warm, melty chocolate chips and dipping it in a little bit of milk is the best. I hope you guys liked this recipe. You can make it just for yourself, for breakfast, give it to your friends, and I hope you love it. Hit subscribe and share with a friend. See you next time. Bye.